Hello, YouTube viewer. This is Mike Daly, and you are watching the Cut the Crap channel. So, today, this is going to be the first in a series of videos called Why Christians Are Wrong About Abortion. And before I get started, I would like to mention that I have just made a major investment that will help this channel. I purchased a $2 mobile phone stand from Walmart so that way I don't have to sit here holding my phone while I'm recording. So this is a real major breakthrough, I think, for my channel and should improve these videos for time to come. Okay, so getting started here. I'm going to get started by reading some information about this is an extreme anti-choice bill that's currently in the Georgia State Legislature, HB 481, known as the Heartbeat Bill. It would ban abortions at 6 weeks or once a fetal heartbeat has been detected, and it is already passed the state house, and so it's on the way to the state senate. So the bill in its original form had no exceptions for rape or incest or in cases in which some other's life is at risk. Now it was then replaced with a substitute bill that allowed exceptions for rape or incest, but also required victims of rape or incest to file a police report in order to be granted an exception. The author and all 17 Republicans objected to an amendment that would have inserted the word viable in front of heartbeats. Now, viable, that is a medical term which means that once the fetus is fully grown and born, that the baby is capable of surviving outside of the womb. And so by them removing the word viable, it means, well, for example, a woman could not terminate a fetus in utero that did not have a brainstem, just because the fetus has a heartbeat. So, to me, that's pretty crazy and cruel. You're going to make the woman carry this baby to term, even though it has zero chance of survival once it's born. So, and this has been a pretty big controversy here in Georgia. A room full of ob-gyn doctors showed up to testify against the bill. So now I think this bill kind of illustrates a lot of what's wrong in how I would say Christian conservatives look at abortion. The attitude seems to be, okay, whatever, that unborn babies need to be, protected at all costs, and I can kind of see the argument where they're coming from a little bit, that, okay, the babies have no ability to protect themselves, and the Bible does, talk about that how we need to, defend those who aren't capable of defending themselves. And if there were something going on, like, say, I don't know if this is still happening in China, but I know China has had their one-child policy, or basically each family could only have one child, and potentially if a woman got pregnant with a second child, she could get ordered by the government to have an abortion. So if there was something going on where the government was, mandating that women get abortions, then yeah, I would be right there in protesting that. But that's not the case for what we have in America. In America, women are choosing, for whatever reason, to get abortions of their own free will. So now I'm going to mention, I guess, my kind of how my own views on abortion have evolved a bit. I would say that I used to be pro-life, or a better way to put it would be anti-abortion. I was a lot more ignorant on the subject that I am now. But a few years ago, back in 2015, I think I was going through sort of this big spiritual renewal. But so at one point, I was debating online, trying to defend the pro-life position. But the more I did it, the more I sensed, okay, that maybe there was something off, that maybe there was something I was missing. And one thing, I guess, that really gave me pause was reading about how under slavery, that a lot of times when a black woman would get pregnant, she would do things to try to abort her baby, because she knew if the baby was born, that the baby was just was going to be property of her master. And so I thought, well, that so the point is that there are reasons to be anti-abortion that are really not very noble at all. Napoleon was against abortion, but that was just because he just wanted as many men or cannon fodder for his armies as possible. So it wasn't because he actually gave a damn about protecting the unborn. So that's just something to think about. Now, one point I'd like to make is, okay, there's a big debate about, okay, at what point is a fetus considered to be a human life or a person? And, so the views on this go from, okay, extreme Christian conservative position, that the fetus, upon conception, the fetus is a person and human life, all the way up to that the fetus is not considered to be a human person until it is actually born. And while that may seem pretty extreme, I would like to note something that I found a bit surprising when I researched it, was that, in Catholicism has always been very anti-abortion, but it's not the case under Protestantism. That before we had like Jerry Falwell and the whole moral majority movement, the Protestant view on abortion was way more liberal than it is now. And that generally the fetus was not considered to be a person until the baby was born and had their first breath. And that even being, like in the Bible, when it talks about in Genesis, when God made Adam out of the dust, and then Adam took his first breath, and at that point he became a living human being. So I guess that that verse in the Bible, the conservative Christians don't really like, probably when it comes to abortion. But anyway, my point is so there's a big debate there about, okay, so at what point is the fetus, definitely a person, a human life that's, that would, be required to be protected. However, now abortion, though, involves two parties. You have the fetus, but you also have the woman that is carrying the fetus. And I don't think there's any argument that the women that are already here and walking around are definitely people and human lives worthy of protection. But somehow this fact seems to get lost on conservatives in their noble, well, not so noble, quest to ban abortion. And I think, just looking like what I read about this heartbeat bill, how the original bill did not even have an exception for in cases which the mother's life is at risk. That's like, wow. I mean, you're just going to force that woman to have the baby, even if that's going to result in her death. And just to further make that point, some statistic here. Let's see, where is it? Georgia. Wow, Georgia ranks 50 out of 50 in mother mortality, with the worst outcomes for black mothers. So that kind of looks like the conservatives really don't care about the women, especially the black women. And but even in the U.S. Overall, the mother mortality. Among developed countries, the U.S. actually ranks pretty low. So, and I just think that in their zeal to stop abortion, that conservatives tend not to look at the unintended consequences of their legislation and how it can cause complications. That can lead to mothers having serious medical issues or even dying. So, and one way I look at it is that I would say conservatives seem to look at like hypothetical situations and want to stop those. Like there was a big deal somewhat recently where there was a legislation passed in New York that made their abortion laws much more liberal and essentially would allow abortions for the entire term of the pregnancy, but like a late term abortion, it would need there would need to be a health issue of the mother involved. And so apparently the difference with that is it wasn't necessarily have to be like the life of the mother, but it would be an issue that would affect the woman's health that would be required to justify having an abortion. And so so conservatives look at something like that and go like, oh my gosh, like these women, they're going to be like 8 months pregnant and just kind of on a whim, they're going to decide, I don't really want this baby. I think I'll go to an abortion clinic and have my baby murdered, or like, in which I dare you to bring me like a single case where that's happened, like from a real reputable news source, not from one of these crazy fringe news sources. Where now, say liberals and progressives, we more deal with kind of the real situations that happen, because I think in every case of abortion, there's a story behind it, and if you don't look at that story, then you really don't at all get the full picture. One thing I read about was, I think it was a 13-year-old girl who was raped by, I think it was either her brother or cousin, and since her parents would not give their permission for her to have an abortion, she had to get legally emancipated from her parents, and due to the time it took for that to happen, she was in her third trimester, and so which getting an abortion at the third trimester is very, even in cases where that's legal in order to protect the life other mother, it's difficult just to find, like abortion practitioners that are willing to do it, just because of all the all the pressure that that they face from performing late term abortions. Um, so so that concludes this will be the first in the series of videos. So just so I'd say, if you are pro-life or anti-abortion, I would just really encourage you to try to do some more research and have maybe a somewhat open mind. I can get having pretty strong views as far as the sanctity of human life and all that, but I'd encourage you just to look at and look at sources of information maybe outside of like where you usually get it, because there's a and one thing I firmly believe is that truth is truth regardless of where you get it from, regardless of whether it's got like Jesus stickers stamped on it, or whether it's just from some totally secular source. So, but yeah, I'll be doing more videos kind of trying to, break this down. I want to talk about kind of what the Bible actually says about abortion, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions around that. That you may find it surprising what what the Bible really says about abortion. So anyway, I thank you for watching. I do appreciate your comments, and also I would please encourage you to subscribe. I'm in dire need of subscribers, and if you do actually subscribe, please also remember to click the little bell thing, and that way you will be notified once I release new videos. And you have a great day.